First is resolution number 33, 2026. Title, Loss of Confidence Parks and Recreation Commission, a resolution expressing a loss of confidence in the City of Barberton Parks and Recreation Commission and declaring an emergency. And the second resolution, number 34, 2026, titled Loss of Confidence Parks Commission, a resolution expressing a loss of confidence in the mayor's decision to not adhere to recommendations of Human Resources to remove the chair of the City of Barberton Parks and Recreation Commission and declaring an emergency. And with that, is there any miscellaneous discussion to be had this evening? We do have a presentation tonight with Hassenstab, Higley, and GPD that can go during this time. I'll turn it over to you folks.
Right, thank you very much. So tonight we have with us representatives from GPD, Hassenstab, and Higley. So a little background on this. I know I've talked to council about this previously, but so this building was built in 52. In 56, the city started looking at a new facility. So almost 70 years in the making, here we are today. So we've got boxes upon boxes of plans and different things the city looked at over the decades. So we want to make sure that this building, mostly on the justice side, the police, the courts, the law department, clerk of courts, are up to standards. Obviously, a lot of things have changed over the last few decades, and we want to make sure that this building and the building where the administration offices are going to go to meet all the requirements, ADA, and things of that nature. So the big push is for this building with the Justice Center and the requirements that they have, which is a lot more than what the other offices are. So we're going to go through a presentation that they've put together and give you some updates. This will be the first of the monthly meetings to come, giving you guys updates, and then we'll have time for some Q&A after that. Okay? So over
Good evening. Can't really tell if that's on, but I'm Eric Beach from Hassenstab Architects.
And I'm Reagan. Oh, sorry. I'm Reagan Everhard with Hassenstab Architects.
Yeah. We're the project managers for the two projects that are occurring here in the town. Why don't you go to the first slide? That's our schedule for tonight. Project overview, followed by the discussion of the projects, followed by some schedule updating, and any questions and answers after that. This is the site of where we are today. The blue building is your existing city hall. That's being converted to a justice center. The pink section is additional square footage that's being added to this building. And that's North 5th Street running north-south there. And we're constructing a red brick walk to connect Tuscarawas to Park Avenue. That's one of the focal points of this project. Next. This is the ground floor. The yellow portion on the right of the screen is the addition and its public space. The public comes in at the grade level, and then they can move through the building with a new elevator. We're renovating about 38,000 square feet in total for this building. The police is still going to be in the lower level. There's an additional training center in blue at the bottom of the page, and a sally port. A sally port is where police cars can come into a enclosed garage and park, take a person out for coming into the jail or into the police department. In green there, that's your existing jail, and we're not actually modifying any of that. In gray, that's the maintenance areas. Next slide, please. This is the first level above grade. In blue, that's the floor we're on now. That's primarily police, detectives, and police administration. In green, that's the law department. The yellow section is again that public circulation where you don't currently have a handicapped accessible building, and part of the reason for the addition is to make it fully accessible. Next, please. So,
It bumped it extra. Hold on. There we go.
so,
That was back.
looks like the same, yeah, that went backwards, yeah.
One more?
Yep, one more.
Yep. Back one.
Okay.
Back two now.
It's not going to let. Wait.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what's happening on the second floor. That's actually the third floor. That's the floor where the planning department is. Oh, here's the second floor. Okay, in light purple, I mean, how many color choices of purple should we use here? In light purple, that's the clerk of courts. So there's a public component with that where people come to pay fines, we'll get paperwork from the clerk. The back, at the north, the top of the page, that's still a courtroom. That's this room. And then the existing courtroom, the small courtroom is still a courtroom. That's also being reused. The judges' spaces in pink are still being used. And the two spaces are, in this room, there's judges' chambers right on the other side of that wall. So going on to the third floor, in the planning department, we're converting that to another courtroom. There's a need for this city to have more courtroom space. So that's about the same size as this one here. In pink, it has the judge and judges support offices. In yellow, again, that's public circulation through. Then over on the addition side, in purple, that's the probation offices, and there's a jury room in pink at the bottom of that square addition on the right side of the page. That's it for the Justice Center.
And we will move on to the next project, which is the City Hall relocation project. Eric had mentioned there are a couple departments within this building right now that are then changing. Those departments will move over to the new City Hall located at 480 Tuscarawas. Here's a site plan. The building would be that white box in the upper left corner with parking around it. If you go to the next slide. This floor plan is of the basement. Really, this is just going to be a wide open space that could be renovated in the future or used for storage right now. If you could go to the first floor, please. First floor here, so those spaces that you see in yellow are going to be community oriented. So for active adults, we'll have a large multi-purpose room with a warming kitchen, and this will also be have a service area where people can walk up and pay their utilities, or they could drive through that existing drive-through and pay their utilities there. Go to the second floor, thank you. And the different color blocks here, we see the relocated departments to this building, as well as some conference rooms, which are in the beige color. And then moving to the third floor here, to the north of the plan in purple, that's going to be the mayor's office, as well as different directors' offices. And south of that floor plan then, we'll have planning department and other departments which have been relocated as well for this building.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for having us. My name's Gavin Smith, project executive with Higley Construction.
And I'm TJ Pasadena, Director of Pre-Construction for Higley Construction.
Yeah, so earlier we handed out, we know it's a little hard to see on the screen there, but we handed out to council members their schedule. And so on that front page, you can see where it starts with schematic design. So that's actually the design phase that we're in now. So the drawings that the architects just went over, again, are very schematic or high level. So again, just to give you an idea of where we're at from a project standpoint. So the next phase will be going into design development. That design development phase will bring with it a lot more detail from a design standpoint. Also at that particular time, we'll refine better our schedule our logistics plans and things of that nature. So at each phase of design, our responsibility from a Higley construction standpoint is doing the cost estimates. We're updating that schedule, again, refining our logistics plans. We're doing constructability reviews, so that's kind of some QC of the drawings. And we're developing a lot of our safety and quality plans as we work through those different phases. And then ultimately, at the end of the design phase, one of our primary responsibilities is actually bidding the project out to the subcontracting committee and working with the city and the architects through that process to ultimately get to a final contract amount that we would move forward with from a construction standpoint. So moving through that design development, you can see that construction documents phase. So that's the final phase of design where everything's packaged up again to foster that subcontracting and bidding effort. And then ultimately, what's also shown on there is kind of the council meetings that we would go through to get approvals. And subsequently, following approvals would be moving forward with construction. And right now, we're showing that construction, which is actually on the second page, starting in early 2027. And what we would do is we would start with the new City Hall or 480 building, get that done so that we can move people out of the Justice Center. That's critical from a phasing standpoint. And then following completion of that, we would move over to the Justice Center. And we're showing a little bit of overlap between one finishing and one starting. That's primarily related to the addition portion and being able to start over there a little bit earlier on that building before we have to actually get inside the building and start displacing people. We do have some conceptual phasing plan and how we would work the Justice Center from a floor standpoint. We still have to meet with the city and all the stakeholders and kind of work through that and make sure that works with them. And we'll start getting into that as we get into the design development phase a little bit more there too. So,
Well, really, I mean, just from an updating standpoint, right now we're working hand in hand with Hasselstad to make sure that, you know, we're looking at all the different building systems and all the different components in each building and just making sure that we understand the program requirements to make sure that, you know, the budgets are in line with where the drawings sit. And as we continue to do these monthly updates, we'll continue to update, but, you know, once we establish that first schematic design budget at the end of schematic design, that'll be the budget going into and moving forward. And we'll make sure that at each design phase, we go through this process where we get the drawings, we take them back, we use both our subcontractor input and our in-house estimating team to validate the estimate. We review it with the design team, kind of refine it once again, and then continue to develop the details.
so far, we're hitting our design deliverable dates and all our construction milestones up to this point, and we don't see why we would continue to do that. So,
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Okay. I have a question. I just didn't see on the plans where council's going to be in the new building.
It's on the second floor of the new building. I think it was in the blue area.
Okay. It just didn't get mentioned then. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Thank you guys, appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right. Any other miscellaneous or city properties, what? Good, no. Any other miscellaneous? The only other thing I have is there are some openings on the Parks and Recreation Commission. So anyone who wants to apply, I believe Mayor, was it asked by March 20th for those applications? Okay. So everyone apply as you can, get those to the mayor's office. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
Second.
we will be adjourned at 6:17. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Public Welfare and Safety, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call the Public Welfare and Safety and Public Relations Committee to order. It's March 9th. Time is 6:17 p.m. We're in council chambers. All members of my committee are present, with the exception of Ms. Gearhart. All council members are present. All other council members are present, and guests is noted on my sheet. We have one request for legislation tonight. A letter from Chief Dave Polachek requesting legislation to allow amendments to chapter 1604 of the Barberton Codified Ordinances. I don't know if you guys saw the request letter. Did you guys see all the different things on there? Some of it just has to do with changing the name from Arson Bureau to something or another.
Fire and gas.
Captain Russell, are you back here? Oh, there you are. Can you come up, please? He can explain a lot of this. I talked to the chief earlier. I guess Captain Russell is the one that went through all this and got all the details and can explain more in depth, I guess.
Thank you, Councilman. My name is Curtis Russell. I'm the fire marshal since last June, taking over for Chief Polachek. The first part of this is just bringing it up to kind of today's costs. If you want to go to the fee schedule, it's on page 3. So these numbers are based roughly on the Ohio Fire Code. The Ohio Fire Code, we just got a new one last November. They've brought their prices up. They're actually charging for their first inspection. I don't think that's fair. The only time that we're going to charge a fee is if we go do an inspection, find some violations. If we go back to the re-inspection and those aren't fixed, that's when we find them. And then it kind of escalates each time I go back until we go to a citation, which also carries a fee. There's also a lot of changes in the fire code for permits. The biggest one I see pertaining to us would be above ground flammable tanks that we kind of see around some of those construction sites. Any questions on that part? Flipping towards the back, like you had already mentioned, just changing the verbiage of the Arson Bureau, which is kind of an industry standard that we've all changed nationally. We investigate all fires, not just arsons, so we don't know until we get into it. Just cleaning that up a little bit. And then towards the end, there's the new part of the chapter of the specialty fees. These are designed for those kind of unseen circumstances. I like to use the East Palestine example. That fire department was out there for weeks and months. This helps us to be able to recoup those extreme costs. There are some fire departments, Councilman Harris asked, some fire departments are starting to charge for house fires and car accidents and stuff. It's already in your insurance policy. That's not what we're looking for right now. It's those extreme circumstances that, you know, we lose a ladder truck or we've got personnel out there for weeks at a time to help the city kind of recoup those costs. Any questions?
Captain Quote. I talked to Chief Polachek earlier. He said there's some other communities closer to us, like Worcester and Sandusky, that are doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to find this kind of across the board for the reinspection fees. If you look on there, this legislation was actually adopted in 2003. So we've been able to charge for quite some time. The fee's only $25. Businesses out there, what I've found, I'm going back 2, 3, 4 times and nothing's getting fixed. So this is really just for a compliance factor, not a revenue. It's kind of a waste of time, and you know, people would rather pay the $25. I think the $100 or $150 is going to start using attention to get buildings into compliance.
Any questions? Committee? Other council members? Anybody from the gallery? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we put this on the consent agenda. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
And then we have one pending legislation, that's ordinance number 35-2026, presented by myself. Amend ordinance number 133-2016 nuisance law, an ordinance amending ordinance number 133-2016, chapter 674 criminal activity nuisances of the Barberton codified ordinances by adding activities as enumerated nuisances. And all they're doing is adding commercial along with residential. Any questions? Anything else from my committee? Other council members? The gallery? Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
I'll second that. We're adjourned at 6:22 p.m. Thank you, Mr. President. I'll pass.
Rules, thank you, Mr. Harris. Rules, Marketing and Development, Ms. Gerhart is absent. Co-chair, Mrs. Beck.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I'd like to call the Rules, Marketing, Development, and Information Technologies Committee to order. It is Monday, March 9th, 2026, at 6:22 p.m. Rebecca Gerhart, as chairperson, is absent this evening. All other members of council are present, and members noted, or guests noted on my sheet. This evening, we have one request for legislation, a request from Emily Beck, Councilwoman for the Fourth Ward, regarding legislation for a proposed charter amendment to eliminate the Parks and Recreation Commission, move it under the Service Director and an advisory, as an advisory commission to the Parks and Recreation Department, Section 403 and 603. Please see request. One thing, I think this is, the language in here is a little bit wrong. I'd like to amend this on the floor. It's 402, not 403, to move it under the Service Director. So can I have a motion to change that from 403 to 402?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. And may I have a vote?
You have a second?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll second that motion. And may I have a vote for that? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Do I have any remarks for this at all? Any discussion from the committee or from council at this point? Mr. Moore?
Yeah, the way this is worded is confusing to me. Saying the charter amendment to eliminate the Parks and Rec Commission and move it to under the Service Director as an advisory commission to the Parks and Rec Department. I feel like that the way it's worded doesn't correct the issue. So I don't know if Ms. Miller can explain it a little better, but I feel like it needs to say moving the Director of Parks to underneath the Service Director.
So Hannah and I worked a little bit more on this after she got she got a draft out, correct?
I believe so.
Do you guys have a draft of that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's her and I were working on that today. I'm really not 100% sure what anyone's asking for. So in the, not because you're not being clear, just because I'm not understanding. I wasn't sure if you just wanted the Parks Department, the Parks Director to report to the Service Director and make that language in there. And so it would be like Engineer, Utilities Director, Building Commissioner, Parks Director. So that was one option. The second one was to include the advisory commission function. We can put that back in the commission area. It doesn't have to go under the Service Director area, right? If a Parks Commission is advisory in nature, it can stay in the commission section of the charter, we just change the language. Or, I didn't know if you just didn't want a commission at all, and as we talked a little bit about this, any mayor can set up an advisory group for anything at any time, and so could a director. So if Denny Weaver wanted to have a utilities, group of citizens to give him advice on utilities, not that he would, but you could do that. I could do that, Jeremy could do that. There's nothing, we wouldn't need charter language to do that if they're consulting in nature, if they're advisory in nature. So we had that discussion, I guess I wasn't super clear when Hannah came with me to draft it. So whatever you desire will be put in there, is all I'm saying. But my thought was to put the director reporting to the Service Director in that section, And if you wanted to continue to have a commission advisory only, we can leave that in 600, Article 6.
602,
Yeah.
603.
So whatever you choose, we're happy to draft that for you.
I think that's what my idea of
Same.
when it was on the ballot last time. is what it
Same.
was. Okay. Sorry.
Right, it's okay, we just will be amending two sections then, amending the 400 section and amending the 600 section.
Right.
To put the director in the 400 section and the advisory commission in the 600 section.
Yes.
So you're saying it would be 2 amendments?
It's one amendment, but two sections.
2 sections. Yes.
Okay.
Which essentially, that's what we did. That's what we had the last
Yeah,
round.
but we'll make sure we get it a little more clear this time, and I'm gonna sit down and write myself an email so I remember exactly what I said I would do.
Okay.
And then next question on that is, I don't think it was clearly defined last time. Would it then be still an appointed position? Just
It would be
under
classified, well, that's true, I'm not sure it was clear, but in my mind while I was drafting, since every other position under the service director is classified now, it would seem to make sense to me it would be a classified position. But if that's not what you choose, let me know.
No, I think that makes most sense. I just wasn't sure what the direction was last time.
Right.
I don't think we're super clear because, everything there were so many that we were just trying to make sure we got it
Right.
right-ish, but now we make sure we did it exactly what we want.
Right. Go ahead.
So this is, we're amending the charter, so then this would have to then go to vote for the
Yes.
public, is that?
Yes, this will go on
Okay.
the ballot in November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so this would go on this November's ballot?
Correct.
Okay.
We're just doing a really good job
Yeah.
of getting it handled super early because we ran up against a deadline the last time. and
Right.
Kind of rushed it through.
Yeah. Anybody else for discussion? Okay. So I think we'll hold this for a moment in here so we can get it all right, everything right,
Yep.
and sit down and make sure we know exactly where everything is going, and we get the language right to go onto the ballot for the people.
It wouldn't be until November, correct?
Indeed.
We don't have enough time, right?
Okay. So we're gonna hold that for a moment. We don't have any, go ahead.
Do we need to vote you guys voted it out of committee already. Do we need to,
Didn't they just vote to amend the
Just to
4.2?
amend.
Yeah, we just voted to amend.
yeah, but you called it, did you not vote to bring it out of committee? And then there was discussion?
No, just to amend it on the floor.
Just to
Okay.
amend. Also, in your council rules, is there a specific committee that charter amendments need to go to?
It's the entire
Okay,
The new-
council.
Okay.
We are the charter amendment committee.
okay.
For council.
That was new, right? So
I
would it
knew
get,
that was a new rule, that's why I'm like, wait a minute.
does it get referred then to the charter? Like, would this get referred to, charter amendments get referred to the new committee first?
I
And
would
then be
think so.
voted out?
I
Most
Does that make sense?
likely, that since
Would that
this will be the
rule-
first time we did it.
Emily, if I recall, sorry.
Go ahead.
Back. Didn't we start in rules and then move it to the whole body? So that
Mhm.
kind of makes sense.
Okay.
We're repeating that unless the rule changed after last charter review, I can't
I
remember.
don't think so, no.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be the first time we do a charter committee for this. That would be our first time we ran that, so.
Okay.
Okay. So we have no I'm gonna move on then. So we don't have any pending legislation. Do we have any miscellaneous discussion for rules and marketing? No? From the body? All right, may I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I know that I ask questions that I just don't understand. All right, when they're on a commission, are they paid to be on the commission?
No, ma'am.
No, I didn't think so.
To
If we move
that
them-
point, yes, the Civil Service Commission receive an amount. That's it. No other commission, they're all volunteers.
Okay, so if these people get moved under the new department, would they be getting money?
No, they're a commission. They are currently an
Okay.
unpaid commission, and they would move to an advisory unpaid commission.
I didn't think so, but I had to make sure.
Mr. Moore? Okay. All righty. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, wait,
Wait,
are we voting on this in committee or, Mrs. Miller, are we voting on this in committee or are we taking, or are we gonna do
It would
it
be
during
done
the
in
meeting?
miscellaneous at the end.
And miscellaneous at the end of the big meeting?
Correct.
Got it, okay.
okay.
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn. May I have a second? I just made the motion.
Oh, I'm second.
Thank you. We are adjourned at 6:32. With that, I pass. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mrs. Beck. Next, we have city utilities, Mr. Stoll.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to call the City Utilities Committee to order. The date is March 9th, 2026. The time is 6:33. All members of my committee are present, myself as chair, Mrs. Hager as co-chair, and Ms. Miller also. Also present are all other members of council except for Ms. Gerhard and guests as noted on my sheet. We have one request for legislation tonight, a letter from Dennis Weaver, Utilities Director, requesting legislation authorizing the mayor to enter into a professional engineering services contract with Verdantis LLC for the Water Pollution Control Center's no feasible alternative improvement project in the amount not to exceed $685,000. Emergency wording requested, and Mr. Weaver, would you mind telling us a little bit about this?
Thank you. This is actually kind of the next step. A few weeks ago, I was here and council approved applying for funds for this project. I couldn't move ahead with the design until the budget is approved. So this would kind of coincide with the budget approval at the end of the month. Then I would be able to move ahead with this. We're actually we're a little bit behind because of the budget. We should have been under contract at the end of January. But the consultant believes we'll be able to make that time up and submit for what's called a PTI, or permit to install, in August. There's quite a bit of work to do, but they're going to throw a number of people at it and get this completed by summer, sort of by the end of summer.
This is just the first component of the project, which we already.
Yes. There's basically a study that needs to take place. They'll actually build a computer model of the treatment plant. That way they can model the hydraulics of it as well as the loadings. And they'll do some oil borings, and there'll be evaluation of all the different equipment in that first phase, followed by detailed design. And then when that is done, then we'll be ready to submit. EPA will review it and issue the permit to install. Next step would be bidding, and hopefully that would be sometime, probably by the end of November. We would award maybe by the end of February, and are open at the end of February, and award sometime in April is the schedule. So we'd get under construction, sometime early next year. So that's the plan.
Great. Does any other comments from the committee? From the body? Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Can I have, or I would like to make a motion to place this on the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Other than that, we have one piece of pending legislation, Ordinance number 36-2026, Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council. An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, and the execution and delivery of the agreement establishing NOPEC and approving the bylaws of NOPEC and declaring an emergency. Sorry, I actually meant two. There's two pieces of legislation for NOPEC. The second one is title Approval of Plan Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, an ordinance approving the plan of operation and governance for the NOPEC electricity aggregation program for the purpose of jointly establishing and implementing an electricity aggregation program and declaring an emergency. Are there any remarks on either of those pending issues? Vaughn? Are there any other miscellaneous discussions for tonight? From the committee? None? From the body? None? Yes, Mr. Harrison.
I know everybody saw the post that I put out there regarding the aggregation and the people that weren't placed on the aggregation. I've talked to PUCO, filed a complaint with them on behalf of what I thought was 1,200 individuals or residents, and it's actually closer probably to 1,700. So I just have asked everybody to be patient as PUCO does their investigation, and then we'll put out the results of that.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. Any other remarks? Yes.
That was for gas, correct?
That is for the gas aggregate, correct?
Clear. Yes.
Anything else? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I do. Motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I'll second.
We are adjourned at 6:39 PM.
Did you put those on the consent?
With that, I pass.
Thank you, Mr. Stoll. Finance and Personnel, Brian Foreman. Mr. Foreman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call to order Finance and Personnel meeting to order. It's Monday, March 9th at 6:39 p.m. In council chambers, members present, myself as chair, Chris Stoll as co-chair, and Mr. Harris. All council members are present except for Ms. Gerhardt. All others noted. I would like to, for the presentation of the financial report for February 2026, Mr. Blecker.
Thank you. We're going to start off with the health insurance fund for the month of February. Our revenues for the month were a little over $475,000. Our expenditures for the month were just over $463,000. Makes our net year-to-date just shy of $32,000. Moving on to the income tax fund. Our actuals for the month of January were just a little over $1.3 million. Our estimate for the month was just shy of $1.2 million. We are over our estimate as of right now by $252,000. So that's a positive. We did do a transfer this past month of $2 million from the income tax fund to the general fund, which is a portion of what was in the temporary budget that was passed by council at the end of last year. Moving on to the statement of cash receipts and disbursements, few funds in the negative, and it's the same few funds that I talk about every single month. The first one is the city grant fund. That has the sludge to watering building. That's through federal grant. So as we pay expenditures on that, we get reimbursed. The next one in the negative is the FEMA fund. That is the dam grant that's ongoing, once again, through the federal government. Once we pay those expenditures, we can get reimbursed. And then the last one in the negative is the CDBG fund, which is our federal HUD grant. Just like with the other federal grants, once we pay the expenditures, we can seek reimbursement from the government. There are no other funds in the negative at this time. Looking at the last 3 months of activity, you will notice the general fund did increase by about $1 million. A lot of that just has to deal with the net transfer. If we transferred $1 million last month and $1 million this month, the general fund would have stayed the same from last month to this month, basically. Special revenue funds decreased slightly, but we did do that $2 million transfer this past month, so that did decrease the special revenue funds some. Enterprise funds did increase. A lot of that increase is stemming from, if you look, the encumbrances outstanding, that decreased by about $644,000. So that is why the unencumbered cash balance increased there. And then all other funds increased by about $54,000. That didn't increase as much, just because if you look at the monthly disbursements, that went up by about $300,000. Got offset by the encumbrances going down by about $375,000. So, looking at February of 25 to February of 26, you'll notice the general fund is down by about $6 million from this time last year. That just is due to the $6 million transfer that we did last year from the general fund to the capital project fund for the Justice Center City Administration Building project. The good thing is if we add that $6 million back, we'd be about where we were in 25, but we don't have as much transfers this year as we did last year at this time. So a little bit of a positive there. Special revenue funds, that is up by about $2.3 million. Enterprise funds is up by about $245,000. And then all other funds does look like a $6 million increase, but that is that transfer from the general fund to the capital project fund for that City Hall Justice Center project. With that, that's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you. Can we call and have a motion to call this out this evening?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The vote to call out this evening? Aye. We have pending legislation, second reading of ordinance and resolution, ordinance 2426, the title, operating the capital budget and adopting the budget of various funds of the city of Barberton for the period beginning January and ending 2026, for beginning that period. Declaring emergency, this will be the second reading. And then, I guess at this point then, is there any other discussion on this? Then we have to then go to the budget.
Before, yes, I'm gonna let, kind of go out of order a little bit. I'm gonna let Mrs. Reed present her presentation, the budget.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you turn to page 51. The majority of the ink is already a big portion of the increase for this year is going to be in like health insurance and OPERS, Medicare, those sections. Last year, my budget, I had asked for $60,000 in postage. with the increase in how much that's been, I had to come back to council for 75,000, or another 15,000 to make it 75. So this year I'm asking for 75, hoping that that will not go up anymore. On office supplies and others, last year, we came in, that number is, we had a bill come out after that 33,000, for another, just shy of 11,000. So, I am lowering that fund down, and so the requested 50 down to 40. And then, are there any questions? And then I do have my technology fund, which is on page 95. That fund, I am limited by the ORC of what I can use it for. It can be essentially used for anything that the court uses for, the clerk's office uses for technology, new computers. We pull out of that fund so we don't have to use the general fund. Our case management system and things of that nature. I do pay part of my salaries out of that fund as well for my chief deputy that handles a lot of the computer and technical stuff. Any questions?
None, any?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reed, Mrs. Reed. We're gonna take a 10-minute break now.
Do we have the quick, adjourn for the?
Yes, go ahead.
Have a motion for, to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We adjourn at 6:48. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman. We'll take a 10-minute break. Mr. Moore?
We are live.
We're live.
That's a phase 2 design.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Okay, we're gonna get started here at our regular legislative meeting of the Barberton City Council. This is Monday, March 9th. The time is 7:02, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Nope.
Oh, prayer, sorry.
Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this time that we can get together and be productive for our city. Help us to learn to work together as a team. Help us to find respect where there is not. Help us to find knowledge to do the work and the heavy lifting that needs done. Please watch over our first responders, our police, our fire, our street department, our utilities department, and all of our military serving overseas in this troubling time. We ask all this in the name of your precious Son, Jesus. Amen.
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 Okay.
Now,
Now,
clerk, please call the roll.
President Griffin,
Here.
Mr. Stoll,
Here.
Mrs. Miller,
Here.
Mrs. Hager,
Here.
Mr. Poorman,
Here.
Mr. Moore,
Present.
Mrs. Beck,
Here.
Ms. Gerhart is absent, Mr. Harris.
Present.
Approval of the minutes. Approval of the minutes of the regular legislation meeting held on Monday, February 23rd, 2026, as presented. Can I get a motion? Mr. Stoll.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I move for the approval of the minutes of the regular legislative meeting held on Monday, February 23rd, 2026, as presented.
Can I have a second?
I second that.
It was moved by Mr. Stoll and second by Mrs. Miller to approve the minutes of the regular legislative meeting which was held on Monday, February 23rd, 2026, as presented. Are there any remarks? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are adopted. Petitions and claims,
There are none.
matters requested.
They have all been emailed out and are in the packets.
Do we have any citizens addressing council?
I didn't see any in that, I was not given any forms.
Okay. Thank you. Consent agenda ordinances and resolutions.
We have no items on the consent agenda at this time.
First readings of ordinance and resolutions.
Resolution number 33-2026, presented by Mr. Moore. Title, Loss of Confidence, Parks and Recreation Commission. A resolution expressing the loss of confidence in the City of Barberton's Parks and Recreation Commission and declaring an emergency. This is the first reading. The second reading will be on Monday, March 23rd, and the third and final reading will be on Monday, April 13th. Resolution number 34-2026, presented by Mr. Moore. Title, Loss of Confidence, Parks Commission Chair. A resolution expressing the loss of confidence in the mayor's decision not to adhere to the recommendations of the Human Resources to remove the chair of the City of Barberton Parks and Recreation Commission and declaring an emergency. This is the first reading. The second reading will be on Monday, March 23rd, and the third and final reading will be on Monday, April 13th, 2026. Ordinance number 35-2026, presented by Mr. Harris. Title, Amend ordinance number 133-2016, nuisance law. An ordinance amending ordinance number 133-2016, chapter 674, criminal activity nuisances of the Barberton codified ordinances by adding activities as enumerated nuisances.
Motion to suspend, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rule as required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter be suspended.
A second, Mr. Moore.
I second Mr. Harris's motion.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Moore, to suspend the rules required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on suspension.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Poorman?
Yes.
Mr. Stoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart is absent.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of ordinance number 35-2026.
Mr. Moore?
I will second Mr. Harris's motion.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Moore, to adopt ordinance number 35-2026. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller? Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
We're doing a vote. Do you vote yes?
Yes.
Okay. Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Stoll?
Yes.
Mr. Poorman?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart is absent. Motion passes. Ordinance number 36-2026, presented by Mr. Stoll. Title, Enter into Agreement, Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC. An ordinance authorizing the city of Barberton to enter into Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, and the execution and delivery of the agreement establishing NOPEC and approving the bylaws of NOPEC and declaring an emergency.
Motion to suspend, Mr. Stoll.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rules as required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter be suspended.
Mrs. Hager.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to second Mr. Stoll's motion on suspension.
A motion was made by Mr. Stoll, second by Mrs. Hager, to suspend the rule as required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on suspension.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart is absent. Mr. Stoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mr. Poorman?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Stoll.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that ordinance number 36-2026 be adopted.
Mrs. Hager.
I second Mr. Stoll's motion on adoption.
A motion was made by Mr. Stoll, second by Mrs. Hager, to adopt ordinance number 36-2026. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Poorman?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mr. Stoll?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart is absent. Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Legislation passes.
Motion to suspend, Mr. Stoll.
Nope, wrong one. 37.
Yeah.
37-2026, presented by Mr. Stoll, title Approval of Plan, Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC. An ordinance approving the plan of operation and governance for the NOPEC electricity aggregation program for the purpose of jointly establishing and implementing an electricity aggregation program and declaring an emergency.
Motion to suspend, Mr. Stoll.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rules as required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter be suspended.
Mrs. Hager,
Thank you, Mr. President. I second Mr. Stoll's motion on suspension.
a motion was made by Mr. Stoll, second by Mrs. Hager, to suspend the rule as required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Mrs. Hager.
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart is absent. Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Poorman.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Stoll.
Yes.
Mrs. Beck.
Yes.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Stoll.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that ordinance number 37-2026 be adopted.
Mrs. Hager,
Thank you, Mr. President. I second Mr. Stoll's motion on adoption.
a motion was made by Mr. Stoll, second by Mrs. Hager, to adopt ordinance number 37-2026. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption.
Mrs. Beck.
Yes.
Mr. Stoll.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Poorman.
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart is absent. Mrs. Hager.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Second readings of ordinance and resolutions.
Well, that ended the first readings. The second reading is ordinance number 24-2026, presented by Mr. Poorman. Title, 2026 Operating and Capital Budget. An ordinance adopting a budget for various funds of the City of Barberton for the period beginning January 1st, 2026, and providing for the administration thereof and declaring an emergency. This is the second reading. The first reading was on Monday, February 23rd, and the third and final reading will be on Monday, March 23rd, and this ends the second readings.
Third readings of ordinances and resolutions.
We have none.
Appointments,
We have none.
miscellaneous and unfinished business. Yes,
Do we want to continue on with the
we'll finish it. And then we'll
budget?
go.
Okay. For miscellaneous, we have Resolution 32, 2026, censuring of violations, council rules. A resolution censuring Councilmember Brian Poorman for violations of committee rules at the council of the whole meeting on February 17, 2026. That's it.
That's it.
Nope, we need to do a vote.
All in favor? Or the roll call vote?
You want to do it as a roll call?
Yeah.
Mr. Stoll.
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart is absent. Mrs. Miller.
No.
Mrs. Hager.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mrs. Beck.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
That's it.
That ends it. Mr. Foreman, the vote was unanimous, was
No, it wasn't.
not unanimous, but, majority. Yeah, thank you. Can I have a motion to excuse Ms. Gerhart from tonight's meeting? Yes, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion to excuse Ms. Gearhart from tonight's meeting, please.
Do I have a second?
I'd like to second.
Thank you,
Ms.
Mrs. Beck. Ms. Gerhart is excused from tonight's meeting. Do we have any communications from the body? Right.
President Griffin, we have not presented our budget.
Well, we're gonna have it. Yeah, we're gonna have it here before the communication to the mayor. We're gonna do it now. Okay, we're gonna finish our budget now, okay? Right.
My budget is on page 56, and I only thank Katie Reed for saying what page her was on, and I turned to Jeremy and asked him what page mine was on. So, thank you to Katie Reed. So, as usual, there's not a lot of there's no big ticket items, I don't have any capital things. It's basically everything that's usually always in there. The only thing I will tell you is that there will be an amendment to the budget presented by Jeremy Flaker to move the professional services of attorneys from the HR director's budget to mine. It should have always been in mine, but many HR directors before her placed that in there. I'm the attorney for the city, I hire attorneys, so we're moving it back to mine. But we didn't realize that until the budget already presented. So it's not an increase of anything, it's just a movement of that money. And that was just kind of the way it was done. I'm not really sure how it happened over time, but I've been here a long time and I kind of remember it happening like 15 or so years ago. I would only say that since 2010 that we've been keeping statistics, my caseload has increased 50% over time. It continues to increase almost every year, although there will be a random dip that we can't explain. If anybody wants any of those statistics or a breakdown of cases by type, I can certainly provide that to you anytime you want.
So the professional services that you have currently, is that including, or that's not including it yet?
That's not including it, and I will say, many of you may know, many of you are not familiar with the jail litigation that we have with the county. That takes up quite a bit of that amount. So, for those of you who weren't familiar, for tens of years, we had worked with the county to try to figure out how to get our prisoners from the Bar Municipal Court in the Summit County Jail. It was the county's position, it is the county's position, that each municipality has to contract with the sheriff and pay for their folks to be in jail. It's our position that Ohio law does not require such payment, that citizens of Barberton pay taxes and those taxes fund the jail, and we should have the same kind of access to the jail as residents of Lucas County or Stark County or Franklin County. That is not the position of our county, and I respect that in a way that, one way that you resolve legal disagreements is by going to court and have judges rule on that. So we went to the trial court ruled in the county's favor. We appealed that. The Court of Appeals sent it back to the trial court to redo it, so to speak. They redid it. We appealed again to the 9th District. We're in the Court of Appeals now. So it's a very procedural process. It's not really a trial. So there's a lot of brief writing going on.
That's included in that professional services?
In the one that's there, that plus 40 will occur after the amendment and will not be an increase to the budget in general. There'll be a decrease in hers and an increase to mine.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, there's gonna be a few budgets presented tonight. We're gonna go next with stormwater.
We are on page 142. Okay, so we started out with our revenue, which we estimated $790,000 for stormwater utility fee this year. Below that, we have our personal services for forestry employees, a stormwater manager, and leaf seasonals. On page 143, we go into operation and maintenance, which covers 10 vehicle and equipment that we do repairs on. Repair and construction materials for storm sewers, street sweepings, catch basin clean out, plan reviews, MOUs with different entities, GIS mapping. Below that, we have our capital. We have $126,000 budgeted this year for the storm sewer camera and a concrete breaker. On page 144, we have our debt service, which this year we're primarily prioritizing bringing down that debt service. On 27, we have a little bit more stable
say concrete breaker?
Yes.
Okay. I thought that's what you said, I just couldn't hear you.
I'm ready.
We'll go planning.
Okay. I'll try to be brief as well. My budget starts on page 78, please.
78.
I think the biggest change we're gonna see this year, and Mr. Heidick isn't here to talk about it, is the demo line item. So we are taking some money from, we are decreasing the demo line item from the 197 that was last year and taking it down to 60. But then you'll see that on page 128, out of the project impact budget, that demo money increases in that, during that line item. So we're not losing any money, we're just shifting where it comes from. Training and travel, we're gonna keep it at 10,000. We have some new staff that I wanna keep, getting the education and the training, Heritage Ohio, economic development, they pop up with ODOD, OCD, and, Heritage Ohio, like I said. Professional services, this year we're keeping at 150. Professional services will include the $50,000 to Main Street that you guys passed the ordinance last year to fund for the next 3. 25 for miscellaneous, things that pop up during the planning year. 75,000 towards the master plan. Hopefully we're also getting a match of 25 or 75,000 from the foundation. $50,000 to review our design guidelines, like our master plan. The design guidelines are also 20-some years old. So designer review board had asked if I work with a team to review and see if we need to update that. I've been getting quotes back, and those quotes range from anywhere between $37,000 and $50,000 to review and print new design guidelines. And then $25K for block 7, for the design phase of block 7. Arts and entertainment is also another line item that we have here. Find it. Arts and entertainment is at 175. Those include things, another half of that, so 25,000 is for the block 7 design. We always pay for the flower pots and the planters to the Parks Department, so it goes for those. We've estimated about 10,000 for new winter banners. We got a grant last year through Heritage Ohio to fund, I think, $1,000 for banners last year, so you'll see the new banners located in the downtown. So we're thinking about possibly doing winter banners, because the ones we have are probably another 20 years old. Mini murals, another 25,000 for mini murals. This is with the schools, partnering with the schools. They're doing self-portraits this year with the students, and we would like to do the mini murals on backs of alleys, and this would help fund that project. And then 10,000 for signage. We have, I think the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you guys have specific questions. We do have 2,000 for the land utilization acquisition. It doesn't show that we've used a lot in the past. I'd like to keep this in the budget because in the past we foreclosed on properties that are tax delinquent through Summit County. That process can take several years, and then we'll randomly get a deed in the mail because that process is, finalized through the court system. So we will get a deed in the mail, and we'll have to pay a certain amount of fees to transfer those properties in our name. So we do take it out of that line item. Any questions? Yes.
The 10K you said is noted for like signage. Is that specific signage for the Arts and Entertainment District or what?
It would be.
Okay. Like.
So wayfinding signage, you'll see that on, I think we did the cross sections of West Tusk, I think at 4th Street,
Tusk and maybe 7th Street, and then some on 2nd. New signage downtown that highlights business names. We like to keep that, momentum rolling as we get new businesses downtown, or some leave, we can update those.
Got it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to be starting on civil service, and that is page 54. Okay. Change-wise, salary, we had a slight increase due to just the increase for the year. Everything is a little about the same, except you'll see for professional services. I want you to know what we pay out of that. That's the majority of the budget for civil services. That's all our vendors that we use for testing, whether it's entry-level positions or promotions. Entry-level exams are not expensive. It's our promotional exams that are quite costly. And so we have 3 promotions already for sure definitely happening here this year. So that's where all of the professional services goes to. Also advertising. So testing vendors and advertising for classified positions. Any questions about that budget? Yes.
Sorry.
Yep.
Is advertising done through a professional service, or is that through the city?
Through professional services.
Approved.
We are required through civil service to post in a local paper.
Okay.
And then any other means that we can use to try and get the word out there. We have been using government jobs, so we can use it for all of our postings, and that is the most costly, but I think it's $2,200 per year, but that's every job we post, so it is overall not that expensive. So, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to move on to safety, which is page 57. So you will see that there is a change for salary, there will be some more, maybe Jeremy can answer specific questions about where the funding comes, but typically everything's spread between how it was before, but now that HR and safety are separate, there will be some changing of where those funds are paid from. And then moving on to the operations and maintenance. Again, that's pretty standard, what we pay for Swisscom, what we pay for dispatch, IT, and lastly, the summon emergency services. And that is what we are billed from the county. And that's been pretty consistent overall. Any questions about safety? All right, and then lastly, we'll move to HR. That's on page 58. Again, just like with safety, with HR, there's a change just due to the separating of the two and where those funds will be paid from. As Lisa mentioned, moving down to operations and maintenance, there will be a significant decrease in my professional services. Those have, Jeremy will ask for an amendment, and that is going to the law department. I will also be asking Jeremy will be asking for an amendment to training and travel. I will be having to pay an invoice here shortly for training that I wasn't anticipating, the ethics training. I did not have that in my budget. And then if you go down, you'll see a lot we have paid out of employee examinations. That's where in operations my largest amount is from. And that's just to cover pre-employment testing. So whether it's medical exams, psychological, background information for motor vehicle, criminal, those sort of things. Mr. Harris?
Question about the health and life insurance line.
Yes.
An increase of $8,000 on that, but it was, actual from last year was $6,256 and we budgeted $14,300 this year.
That's based on the full, oh, sorry. Let's let Jeremy answer.
So with the changing of the charter and HR being split, Ms. Eisman's salary is going to shift once we hire that part-time safety director. So not a lot of her salary used to be paid out of the HR. So more of that is going to be hit now once she shifts full-time HR. So that's why there's the increase, because her benefits are now more going to be paid out of HR on the public safety.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Did you touch on equipment? I'm sorry, if I picked it up for a second.
Equipment, yes. I put it in the budget, oh, I'm sorry, yes, I forgot. We are currently, my department is, all paper, and my goal when I'm just HR is to be able to have a software, so we can, that would be to purchase, the first, year of getting the set up to you, and then we just have the maintenance fees going forward. Any other questions? Thank you.
My budget is on page 55. So at the top is professional services. I'm not going to go too deep into that. It's contractual. So, but in operations and maintenance, you'll notice professional services increased. Couple reasons for that. You saw last year where I went over budget a little bit. A lot of that had to deal with the account numbering, the rebuilding of our account numbers in our software system. So this year is now the rebuilding of OpenGov. So this budget workbook can be on a cloud versus an Excel spreadsheet. You guys all know how I feel about that. So that is paying for that portion to get OpenGov back up and running. And then also getting a new module added to one of my softwares, which is going to be a contract management module for the city. So it would be a module for all city departments to upload their contracts to, any sort of contract, grant agreement, construction agreement. I'm going to pick on police because it comes to the top of my head. Body cameras, that agreement, maintenance agreements, service agreements, any sort of agreement, contract is going to be into that portal. Few reasons for that. I think it's very necessary for the city to have a portal like this because one thing I can guarantee everyone here, not anyone's going to be here forever. As much as it may seem like some people are here forever, I'm not pick on Denny or anything because he's not here. There will be a today and time. People will come, people will go, people will retire. And one of the things I don't want to happen is a person move on from the city and no one has access to those contracts. It's very important that we have access to those contracts when that person leaves. And with this software, I'm able to easily assign the contracts. If I'm going to pick on Denny, because he's been here forever. But if Denny would leave, whatever contracts were assigned to him, I could easily assign to whoever his replacement would be. So that way, when that replacement comes in, they have access to all those contracts. Not only that, they have contact information for those contracts. They will also know if that contract does have a term. They'll know when that contract's going to expire, to where if they need to renew it or whatever. So that is another piece of software that I am adding, module that I'm adding to one of our software systems. So that's why I have an increase in my professional services this year, is to try to get those things up and running to help the city out. Other than that, software maintenance is up a little bit. That's where my maintenance fees come in for my various software systems that the city has. And then I kept office supplies the same. You'll notice that office supplies number is $7,145 from last year. And you're like, hey, you only used $7,000 last year. You want $11,000 again this year. One of the things that the actuals don't take into consideration is any encumbrances or POs that we have outstanding. And I did have a PO outstanding for a few $1,000s there at the end of the year. So it's just not reflected in the actual. So it is closer to the $11,000 number once we pay that invoice this year. So other than that, I don't have any other questions on the budget.
Just going to finish a couple of general fund accounts. Actually, first, I wanted to talk about, so we asked the question about postage, right, last week? Under the building department, it went from, we budgeted 5, and we went to 8, then we budgeted 5, and went to 14, and we budgeted 5. So that's a fluctuating cost. So a lot of that is dependent on BZA hearings. So like if it's one of those that it kind of ebbs and flows. Last year, so what happened is the end of the year adjustment ordinance, Jeremy took care of that overage then. So we just kind of budget that lower number. Again, him and I kind of talked today, we probably won't hit that lower number just because it seems like it's constantly been rising. But it's something that we can do with an adjustment ordinance then at the end of the year to correct that being under budget. So did I explain that pretty good, Jeremy? Okay. So let me figure out here. I think we left off with the building department, and then I was going to go to Signal. So Signal would be the next budget that I kind of oversee, and that is on page 72. So this is main functions out of the service garage down on Brady for the traffic signals and the traffic controllers. So this, again, so you can see that the wage with their adjustment, contractual adjustment, increased a little bit this year. We actually ended up just a touch under budget, but we were pretty close last year. You know, and that's kind of guessing on roll up with you know, overtime and that kind of stuff too. And so the personal services kind of reflects that small increase. And then contracted services, so that's if we have to call somebody, Power and Electric, or there's another one we use out of the Columbus area. Name is slipping my mind right now. What is it?
Thompson.
I think Thompson and Parham are the same. I think they merge. I can't think of it. Ronnie Eagle will be able to answer that question right off the top of his head. Lampy. Is that it? Okay, either way, that was another one. Repair and maintenance supplies, we went a little over budget last year. But we, trending, it was right around that $3,000 mark. And then gasoline and oil is for our bucket truck and that kind of stuff. Any questions on the signal budget? And then I had one more I was gonna cover that I've got marked here, which is the parks maintenance. So that also, that's page 76, sorry. I just flipped to my next sticky note, so flip to your next sticky note. So this budget also is utilized the service garage down there for our park maintenance. So the employee salaries, as you can see there again, with roll-up, there's a little bit of an increase in the contractual increases. Contracted services, so again, so that's stuff that we do in the park, so that could be playground equipment repair, that could be tree trimming, tree removal, are used out of the contracted services. Repair and maintenance, kind of same items, playground equipment, swing sets, bathrooms, operating supplies, repair and maintenance supplies, those are kind of used hand in hand to keep the equipment functioning. Electric power, gas, oil, improvements other than buildings, I believe they're looking at doing some fencing, and then the 12 grand, the equipment and furnishing was, side by side with the plow. They share a lot of equipment between the service garage and parks, so it was either a side by side or with a pickup truck. It was one of those two pieces of equipment that will serve dual duty to help out in the park and also in the service garage.
From last year, like that 47. Is that what you're saying? Like the 47 was.
No, the 12 grand. So that's going to be a shared cost for a piece of equipment.
Oh, to get a new.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not necessarily will that all of the cost of that piece of equipment come out of this budget. It's going to be a shared piece.
Got it.
We talk. There's so much crossover in that department down there that they share funds to buy a lot of different equipment that can be utilized across the garage. Are there any questions? Park maintenance, yes, sir.
This might be a little tech. Can you explain the contracted services? So, like, your team gets contracted to do parks maintenance. Is that understanding correctly?
No, so this is if something needs done in the park, so we would call up, say, I'm going to use Barberton tree for example.
Like
If a limb falls and's hanging, we would have to contract them to come remove it.
Got it. Sorry.
If a tree falls down and it's laying on the ground, our guys can take care of it. But when a limb falls out of something, we have to contract somebody to have them come in and remove it. That's probably the best example for parks maintenance. When the dugout blew over at Foundation Fields, and we had to have a mason come in and lay the new block, that would be another instance for contracted services.
Cool. I was overthinking that. Thank you.
Yep. That was the last budget I had marked in the general fund that I kind of maintain. I was thinking we'll probably do, so I know Denny will be back for his budget, the water and sewer. At that point in time, I'll kind of cover the distribution and collection garage down on Water Street. So, any other questions? So while I'm here, I'm going to just have a flow. Maybe do you have any other budgets you want to cover? And before we go to the mayor's remarks, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, I touched on postage, and then I wanted to talk about, so I think Lori forwarded everybody the email about the street lights. Did everybody receive that and see the email about the street lights? So I sent an email to Amy Hopkins to try to explain to get an explanation on some of the things. So one, I was curious, what are the color of the current street lights? So high pressure sodium, are they a 3K or are they a 4K? Monty and I kind of talked a little bit today after the Justice Center meeting. But I'm not real sure like what we currently have. I know that the brighter white light is typically more for like roads where there's less houses, because you got to think if it's an acorn, so it's got a full globe, and you've got your bedroom right next to it, and that's a bright white light, it's not as conducive to sleep. You have to have better curtains and this and that. Not that most people don't, but those are the kinds of things that we have to look at. I think that what I'm going to find out is that most of them are 3K, the high pressure sodium. So I think that it's not going to hurt us to stick with that. It more or less is just an email asking your opinion. And so, I mean, if you guys have an opinion and want to share it with Amy, please CC me, just so that I'm aware, what your opinions are. One of the other questions I asked was, if it's an acorn style light, will it be replaced with an acorn style light? My assumption is, again, yes, but I don't want to assume. And then the next thing you know, they come in and we've got acorn, carriage, acorn, carriage, and then the next thing you know, it's just a hodgepodge of everything. So I would assume, but I don't want to assume. And then one of the other questions, I know in that email they said there was a credit. Well, my question is what is that credit, and what is that credit towards? So if we're paying $7 now with the ESIP rate, does the standard streetlight rate go to $12, and then is that credit off of that $12, or is that credit off of the $7 that we're currently paying? Because that's the other thing that I'm not real clear on with that email. So I asked her to kind of clarify that also. And I feel like there was one more. Oh, and then this was stemmed from Monty and my conversation earlier. I asked, will they look at it in a geographical area, so that we don't have two different types of lights, so we don't have high pressure sodium and LEDs, or is it strictly a replacement upon failure? Because I know we've had discussions in the past with her that we could get on a replacement upon failure, basically plan. The reason we haven't done that was because she says, well, just give it another year and it's coming, because the ESIP rate's going away. So they're eventually going to do away with all the high pressure sodiums. It's not just our community, it's every community that they service. So, but those were the 4 styles or types of questions that I was asking. Like I said, if you guys have anything else that pops up, please let me know, and we can follow up with them, or if there's any preference. Yes, Mr. Harris.
So we pay a flat rate for our streetlights,
Yes.
and you're calling that the
It's called ESIP.
ESEP?
Yeah. You're gonna ask me what it stands for. I'm gonna tell you I don't know.
No, I'm not.
Okay. I don't remember if she's.
So it doesn't matter, I mean, it's just a flat rate, no matter what.
Yes. So an ESIP, and again, I don't remember exactly what it stands for, but it's the current rate that we're paying, and then they have a standard street lighting rate, which is what the LEDs go to. So my assumption is that this monthly credit is off of the standard street light rate, but I'm not sure what that standard rate is compared to the ESIP rate.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Miller.
Just wanted to know, on Robinson, they took down all the trees across at the pond, and I called to make sure that was okay. And I said they're gonna put aluminum poles down Robinson.
That's my understanding. So they're going to be putting bases in the ground, and then it's an aluminum structure that the highline wires that are there will be attached to this aluminum structure.
Okay, what about the streetlights?
So the streetlights, I'm not real sure. Are they on both sides of the road there? Are they on their
I'm
own
not positive.
poles? I'm not real sure or real familiar with that area. But so a wooden pole, they would typically put a street light arm on, and it would be it's what's called a cobra head, those are in that email too. But they will be LEDs.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me for them to put poles on one side of the road and then not the other, and not include the lights. So we have this whole scattering of poles everywhere.
Yeah, so with the aluminum structures though, those are strictly like high line power, so that's gonna be probably like 144,000 volts. So that's transmission line. Where your street lights are typically on your poles that are distribution lines. So it looks like the street lights are across the street on the distribution poles, currently. So they were, like I said, they're replacing the high line pole, that's a wooden pole with an aluminum structured pole, for the transmission lines. So that would be on the south side of the road. The street lights will be on the north side.
So they're gonna put a street light on my side of the road.
If you live on the north side of the road, it looks
Yes,
like
I do.
that's where the street lights already are.
They're not changing anything, just
I think all the streetlights are at the intersections of the streets that come into Robinson.
Okay.
Or there's an intersection there such as, what?
It looks like there's some that are
Nine.
mid-block. And again, though, I'm going off of Google image from 24. Yeah, it looks like they're, I mean, I'm gonna spitball and say about every 500 feet, something like that. So, and they're hitting every intersection, and then is some mid-blocks.
So they're just replacing the high tower with those wooden.
So yeah, so they're currently wooden poles, and
So
they're
just
gonna
gonna replace them with the.
Yeah, so what'll happen,
Okay.
and it's gonna look extremely cluttered at first, because what'll happen is they have to come in and they have to build the new
Yeah.
before they can remove the old. And it's going to be a lengthy process. I know Mrs. Beck can speak to that when the pole was struck and broke up by her home, how long it took to get them to come. I mean, they set a new pole almost right away because they have to be able to secure up all the lines, but then it takes a while to get the crew to come back and remove. And that's something that we'll try to stay on top of them to make sure, 'cause I mean, it's, that we don't want that clutter just as much as the people that live there don't want the clutter. So I mean, it's just a matter of just staying in constant communication and trying to get that taken care of.
So the poles on the south side of the street are gonna be aluminum, and the poles on the north side of the street are gonna be still wood.
So, yes,
It's
that's
those
my-
high power lines, because on the other side, it's so really
Yeah,
high.
it's just gonna look bad. Aluminum, wood.
I mean, that's so aluminum is what they are typically going, especially once you go over 80 feet, because those are probably 80-foot poles, the transmission, and so the new ones will probably be over 80, and it'll be the aluminum.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know, actually Jessica Greer told me there's one light somewhere near Park and North Van Buren. That the light is, the street light is really bright.
Okay.
It shines into a friend of hers, somebody's window, cause she thought it was like still daylight outside and they're like, no, it's 10 o'clock. So,
Okay.
I can try to find out where that is.
Yeah.
And then, how do you go about, like, I know, my one constituent on Central, likes to try and get another street light put in on that street.
So I mean, that's something that we can request. It comes at a cost for the city. I do know that I think anytime we've requested that in the past. But again, if it's a dark area and it's something that's warranted, I would have her email our office.
Okay.
And we can follow up with
Alright.
that.
Real quick, since you're still up there, and I forgot to ask you, when you were talking about the signal department, are we gonna camera any more intersections? I know Johnson's Corners is supposed to get it here sometime.
Yeah, so I think that it's kind of like streetlights. We're going to replace upon failure. So I mean, that one's pretty much going to eat up most of the camera budget this year. We do have some of the equipment on hand already. If we did, for some reason, have another intersection that fail, or we have multiple loop failures, we would come and either appropriate more money or look at how we can either use signal or, I mean, some of the lighting funds can be used for traffic signal. But yeah, absolutely.
Or they crash into the box.
Or they crash into the box.
Knock on wood.
Hey, Todd, I got
Yes.
one quick question. who's responsible for cleaning up their mess? I know when they prune the trees around the power line and they leave it on, I got some on my property. Who's responsible? Am I supposed to clean their mess up? Tell me who's supposed to do that.
So again, I don't know why that would be burdened on any one of our residents.
Right.
That should be on the company, either the company that they hired,
Yeah.
so if they subbed it out to, say, an Asplund or a Barberton tree or a tree company.
Right.
Penline, I know they use Penline for a lot
I saw
of it.
Penline before.
They should come back and clean it up.
Yeah.
If there's still a pile remaining there, again, I would email into the office and we'll make sure that we reach out to Amy or one of our other contacts and get that taken care of. Yeah. That shouldn't be a burden of
No, it shouldn't.
any one of the residents.
No.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Communications from the mayor?
All right, thank you, Mr. President. First, I want to thank everyone who attended the February Change for Change event, and thank you to the Moose Club for hosting the event. Raised almost $300 for victim assistance. It does not include the check that the Moose Club gave directly to victim assistance, so throw that on top. So great turnout, a lot of money raised for a good cause. March Change for Change will be the Civitan Club, benefiting Backup, and that's on Friday the 27th. Last week, if I owe you an email or a call back, we were pretty busy last week. The federal government and the state government gave us about 8 days to put applications together for funding, which included getting all the facts, the figures, filling out the application, submitting that, getting letters of support, things of that nature. So very, very busy. I want to thank you, Council President Griffin, for being accessible for some of those letters as well. But we got them all turned in. It wasn't easy, but we got them taken care of. So we'll see how it pans out with some funding. This Saturday through Main Street is a Litter League cleanup. I believe that's from 10 a.m. till noon, as well as the official lighting of 2nd Street at Saturday evening at 5:45 sharp. As Stratford Avenue and 5th Street downtown, their water line replacement projects come to the kind of tail end. We have applied for additional grants for additional water line replacements. But I just want to point out that these are highly competitive grants, so we don't get every one of them. I know that since we started this program of replacing water lines, it's kind of like the paving program. People only care about what is affecting them and their service, which I totally get. We've done about 7 lines in about 3.5 years. It's very, very costly. So those are coming up, wrapping up here in the next few months, and then we'll repave those roads. We'd like to apply for more grants. We'd like to get more done quicker, but it really is a capacity and a cost issue. These water lines predate any of us, and we're trying to replace them as quickly as we can. But we are making headway. That's the important part. And just like our streets, it's hard to play catch up. So, I did the math a number of years ago. If we would have increased our income tax instead of 0.25% and did an entire full 1%, we'd still be playing catch up. But we're making headway. Streetlights were brought up, and yes, we do pay a flat rate. There's a question in the Q&A that I do on Thursdays about the streetlights, the day burners they call them, that are on all day over State Street Bridge. We're not paying any extra for those that are on during the day. We pay a flat fee. But that means if they're not working, we're still paying. So that's why it's so important to get those turned in. If you see a pink ribbon around it, you can safely assume that it's been turned in because someone's marked it. I go around early in the morning and I mark them throughout the city and I turn them in that day. They are supposed to remove the pink ribbon when they replace the light. It doesn't mean they do it. So if there's a pink ribbon around it that's working, I would safely assume that it's fixed. If there's a pink ribbon around it, it's been a number of months, let us know. We'll put the order back in, or you can do that yourself through their website. We use the same channels. So, but it's important. We hate wasting money, and we're paying for it whether it works or not. Councilperson Harris, I want to thank you for reaching out to the PUCO. I've been fielding questions as well about people who played by the rules, did everything they're supposed to, and were not switched over. for the aggregate. Still reaching out and gathering information, not only from residents, but from our consultant and First Energy as well. So I'm getting that information. So if you could send me that information, I don't believe I was on that email. You said there was a post you put out?
It was a Facebook post.
Okay. If you can send me the information just so we've got the same.
And then, I talked to PUCO, IGS, Ambridge, and PUCO says, wait till the investigation's complete.
Yeah.
So, and they said that could take 2 to 3 weeks. So we're entering, what, second week? I think it's the second week now, so I would hope soon.
Well, let's share information, share notes, so we can make sure we're tackling this.
I think that bridge guy sent the email to you also. Today?
Today?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said he did.
And then like you said earlier today, the original number was just a few, and then it was only 1,200, and now you're saying around 1,700.
Correct.
So, and it could be more than that. So we
Yeah,
wanna make sure.
let's hope not.
So, just finally, we're staying on top of the weather. 70 degrees today, possibly tomorrow. Rain possibly Wednesday. Cold front coming in over the weekend and next week. So our crews have been out fixing water main breaks, restoring the cutouts, addressing potholes, and making sure storm inlets are clear. We're prepared for this past weekend. There's supposed to be heavy winds, almost a tornado scenario, and a lot of rain. Didn't really get much. It's a good thing. But just let you know we're prepared on that. We've had the asphalt holders, we call them a hot box. We've had both of those out whenever they're making asphalt. So we're doing everything we can to get up to where we need to be. You will see cones and pogos out on areas that we know need to be investigated and tore up. Nobody is sitting on their hands. No one's just sitting around waiting. We're actively out throughout the neighborhoods correcting the problems. We will get to those areas. So appreciate everyone's patience. That's all I have. Yes.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, you mentioned like Stratford and like the funding for that. I know when we had spoke before, you said when you're applying for this funding, it's like delayed by a few years, correct?
No, not with the water lines. That's more the streets.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that's one.
So different organizations. It's really playing that chess game of when you apply. There's no 100% grants out there, so there's typically a match. So it's usually 80-20. So you're talking about AMATs where that's. We applied for Robinson. We applied for several streets. I believe we'll be receiving funds for Robinson Avenue from Van Buren to State Street, the whole length. But if we get that money, it won't be until 2030, 2031. The water lines through OPWC and some of the concrete streets are a little quicker turnaround. But as we found out, when we get the award, they don't necessarily start when they say they're going to start. So we want to make sure we're giving accurate information to the residents on when to be prepared for construction and making sure that the contractor adheres to, and then we're all on the same page and getting the information out to the residents.
Got it. Thank you. I just want to clarify. It's kind of like a giant Jenga puzzle sometimes.
Yes, it is. All right, anything else? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. With nothing else, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Mr. Stoll.
I move to adjourn.
Mrs. Miller?
Make them up, second that motion.
It was moved by Mr. Stoll and second by Mrs. Miller that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 8:04 p.m.